Hi friends, welcome back. I wanted to show you this old book that I am going to be turning into a journal today. You can see the spine there has separated from the cover, but there's lots of writing inside and I want to preserve some of those pages. This is a book that I decorated the cover on for a little workshop I had last week, and you can see there the spine has holes in it. So I'm going to use some Tyvek. It's a recycling and Tyvek envelope, cutting a strip, and I'm going to reinforce the spine so that the cover can stay intact and it won't be ripping or breaking apart, especially since I've started the artwork on the outside. I've decided to go ahead and keep the cover together. And literally this book the pages were being held in there by one little drop of glue, but look at those signatures. Isn't that amazing? This cover was damaged beyond repair. It was probably water damaged, and you can see the holes there in the spine. So that's why I went ahead and decorated. But now I'm turning it into a journal so I can use it for Lent, and I am excited to be doing something special with it here for the next 40 days. That's just Tyvek, and that's just Scotch quick dry white glue. I can never get it to come out of the bottle through the little spout, so I always just open it, and of course I use my fingers for everything. So need more glue. Always need more glue. More glue is good. But you can notice there I'm gluing it to not the actual cover itself, but to the paper that's next to the cover. Does that make sense? And so I just want to get it really in the spine really good so it dries secure. So I'm actually going to let it dry for about 10 minutes. Be right back. Okay, it's been about 18 minutes and I'm back, and the spine is dryish. And I'm gonna do some trimming here and keeping things in shape as I go. Because there were so many holes in the spine, I'm going to wrap that Tyvek around there just to help form the border to keep the spine strong. Using lots of glue. Another piece of Tyvek just to strengthen that hole that was there. Or not strengthen the hole, strengthen the spine, cover the hole, and some music paper to add another layer with some decoration on it. I've switched to Mod Podge now, and I'm going to use Mod Podge here to attach this piece of fabric that I have pulled out to decorate the inside there. This is just a leftover scrap from some project my girls did at home ec, and I just had just enough left to do this, and I'm going to trim it up here. I like using fabrics like when I'm cutting that has a pattern on it, so I can use the pattern as a guide. I'm just cutting through the circles kind of all at the same angle, and that's going to get me a straight line. You can see there's lots of creases in it, and I probably should iron it, but I'm just making this for myself, so I'm not too worried about it. But actually when I get the Mod Podge on and I smooth it out really good, you'll see there's no wrinkles when I glue it down. I love those polka dots. They make me so happy. I'm going to be so happy to open the cover of the book and just see those bright blue and white polka dots all the time. Pulling out some Mod Podge chunks there. Maybe I got a little too much, but that's okay. I use my fingers. People are always asking, why do you use your fingers when you're gluing? It's really because I'm too lazy to go wash out the brushes because I just want to keep creating. So that's why I always have Mod Podge on my fingers, somehow glue always, paint always on my fingers somewhere. I'm pressing the fabric really good now into the spine, into the creases, just for the movement of the book and for the strength of the book and the adhesion of the fabric. And you can't see any wrinkles now. I've got a brayer now, just spraying it all in. And the glue came through the fabric, so I know that there's plenty of glue on there. Now I'm just gonna let it dry a little bit. And in fact, that was about 10 minutes. And it seems pretty secure. I'm liking the way it's looking. Oh, we're gonna paint. We're going to paint the spine now over the music paper. You're not even gonna be able to tell that I added it after the original art on it. Just gonna blend it in. So starting with a little, what is that, gesso? And I thought that flower was not white enough, so obviously I'm adding the gesso to the flower just to brighten it up. And it's highly possible I've got too much paint on there now. It really just takes the tiniest dot of paint just to spread out. Here we got my stamps out. This is one of my favorite stamps. It is really old. It's from Glitz Design, and I just keep it in a Ziploc bag now because I don't know, it won't stick to anything anymore. And I know my paint is wet, so I'm being really careful here to not stick my paint covered stamp in my stamp pad. But here, usually don't clean my stamps, but when I've got paint, I'm cleaning my stamps. Clean paint off your stamps, people. I think it looks pretty good. When it's dry, I'll add a coat of Mod Podge over it, and you'll never be able to tell that it was done at separate times. Okay, I'm going to start with my eyelets now to create my binding for my pages. And I bought this eyelet kit at Hobby Lobby, and I have to keep the directions with it because the details just escape me. So I always try to keep directions. I love instructions. I follow the instructions. I like to read the instructions when I'm building something or putting something together. I go step by step. I like to, when I get a new item, read the instructions on how to do it. And so I just refer to the instructions on pretty much everything. I'm not a super technical person, so it's necessary for me to follow the directions. And that was more about me than you needed to know, but anyway, it's okay to follow instructions. Okay, I'm going to be measuring here to try to get my eyelids even because I'm going to put 4 and I want them to be somewhat symmetrical. And no matter how hard you ever, like me personally, how hard I measure and try to get things straight, I always have a variance. And you know, that's okay. Because nobody knows it's there really but you. And the paint's still wet, obviously. I'm using my eyelet punch here, and the eyelet punch is smaller than the actual eyelet, so I know already at this point that the hole is probably going to be a little bit too small, but I'm going to see if I can make it work. And the eyelet doesn't quite want to fit into the holes, so I'm going to have to grab my regular hole punch here and just punch around the hole a little bit, and it just widens it just enough, just a touch. Hey, look at that. It looks great. I love the way it turned out. I won't bore you with the rest of my hammering away here, but they turned out really good. Look at that. They're not perfectly placed, but once you get the strings in there, no one will even notice. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and reinforce this, what would you call it, that seam that's there between the page and the book cover. And I've got this 7 Gypsies masking tape. I actually have several of them, but this is the one I picked. Anyway, I'm going to just add some glue. This is a Scotch wrinkle resistant glue stick, and add it there. I'm really kind of sad about covering up that handwriting that's there in the corner. I'm not quite sure what it says. It was just a couple people's names, so I don't know if they had borrowed the book or they were friends, or I don't know. Anyway, but I ended up not covering it too much, so I was happy with it. But I'm just using glue, sticking the tape down, getting it into the crevices real good, and just to reinforce that seam there, so just the book will be strong. I'm kind of loving that combination of the bright blue polka dots and the distressed masking tape. Is kind of like a floral print on tone with some text in it, and I'm kind of loving that combination. And I was trying real hard here not to cover up too much of that writing either, because that's part of the book's history. And you just want to hold on to those kinds of things, those details, if you can. All right, perfect. Reinforced. Trimmed up. Looks good. Look how cute that fabric is. I just love that. It's like a bright little happy spot right inside. Okay, this is some elastic string. I think I just got this from, I don't know, Joann's or Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to run it through. So the longest parts are on the inside and the shortest parts are on the outside of the spine, and then tie it off on the outside. and my binding is ready. Now I feel like my binding was a little wet still, so I did let it dry a little bit, but I'm back and I've got my papers ready. I've got some heavy 110-pound cardstock I'm going to be putting in here. My pages need to be between the top and bottoms of the eyelets so that they don't, so that they fit inside on the elastic cord. I've got my score pal and I am scoring each one at about 5 inches. That's where the fold is. So it's a 10-inch piece, and the height is about 6 3/4. But I am not too strict on that. Some of them are shorter. So this is construction paper I'm using here, some True Ray construction paper. And then I'm also using a piece of handmade paper that was from Recollections, and it's really heavy duty. It feels like, I don't know, like, it feels like an egg carton, just like a heavy duty, I don't know, paper. And I've got about 40 sides of pages, because I need 40 for the 40 Days of Lent. Does that make sense? So, and there they all are lined up in there, and it's just about ready. And the last thing I'm gonna do is put some beads on this string down here. And I started out with that pink bead because it's just been floating around my desk for a while. And I've got a white heart charm and a blue little bead, and I find this this little clear amber dangly thing, and I stick it on there, but I end up deciding that is not what I want on there. And while it looks cute here in the video, so it means I probably should have left it, I wasn't happy with it at the time. So I dig some more in my little jar of little things, and I found a jingle bell, I think, and another little charm. And then I find somewhere in there a tiny little pair of pink scissors that were on an earring. Now, I don't know who would ever wear that earring or where it even came from, but I stuck it on here and I end up loving it. And with that, I'm cleaning it up, and my little journal is done. Oh wait, I found that, it's not done. I found that little hot pink flower that needed to go in her hair by the other one. And now it's done. Thanks for watching.